Welcome back, everybody. We are on part 2 of episode 142, and that means we got to talk about some hot tags that went on this week in wrestling. There are 3 things that I want to talk about for this week. One of them is something that is actually a little bit of a crossover between this site and fanboysanonymous.com, and that is the rumor that Sheamus will play Darth Vader in the upcoming Star Wars Episode 7 as yet untitled movie. I don't buy it. And I don't buy that because it's Sheamus. Because if they do have Darth Vader in the movie, then you need somebody who's got the bulk to be able to pull that off. And David Prowse is certainly not going to do it. I don't buy it because I don't think Darth Vader is going to be a part of it. Spoiler alert, if you have not seen these movies that have been out for 20-something years, Darth Vader dies at the end of the series. And you can't just necessarily bring him back to life. He's brought back to life as a ghost. And the ghost does not look like Sheamus. So
no, it looks like Hayden Christensen.
Yeah, who I won't defend him when it comes to acting in a lot of different ways, but I'm sure he's a better actor than Sheamus is still. Hey, get out of my pool.
Get out of my pool, fella.
So I don't buy this at all whatsoever. Of course, if he does end up playing the part in any kind of fashion, even for one quick scene or something like that, which, by the way, they don't do flashbacks in the Star Wars movies, so I can't even see that happening. But if there is any way whatsoever that Sheamus is a part of this, he's completely just underneath the armor. And I don't even think that that's got a chance of happening. I think this is just the same old nonsense that we've heard that have happened a million different times with a million different movies, where John Cena was going to play Captain America and Triple H was going to be Thor, and 100,000 other people in Hollywood were going to be in Episode 7. So this has about as much credibility behind it as a bunch of jack shit does for me. But, Wago, what do you think about this? If Sheamus does end up playing the part of Darth Vader, is that a good thing, a bad thing, or is it not even worth talking about?
Luke, I'm your fella. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's just bullshit, but it's one of those funny scenarios. I can't picture him doing it. He seems like the last person I'd cast for that role. If he did, I imagine they wouldn't have him talk. They'd have someone else do the voice. But seems stupid. But if he does do it, I'd imagine he might be there for a flashback followed by a side transition scrolling, as they always do in Star Wars.
An ellipsis wipe. Miguel, your thoughts on this story?
There's not much. I mean, he's refuted it somewhat on Twitter. So, like I said, I can't imagine that. Like you said, I can't imagine bringing him in to do any sort of substantial work other than being a body double. And even then, I'm sure they could find guys that are better suited for that than Sheamus.
Drew?
To answer Miguel's question, he's pulling a Chris Jericho. He's going to refute it and then still do it anyways. I'm just saying. But it'd be interesting, but it's not going to happen. But it'd be the best thing Sheamus has ever done in his career, I bet.
But Drew, is it a match?
It might be a match to see who gets the role. I don't think it's a match as of this moment, because apparently Sheamus is the clear-cut favorite. I mean, fuck, it's Darth Vader and Sheamus. One's black, one's white. You can't tell the difference, right?
Now, Peyton, if he does end up getting a part in this movie, whatever the case may be or something, Darth Vader the way to go, or should they make him like Admiral Akbar or something?
Jabba the Hutt!
It's a trap.
George Sheamus.
I thought he asked me the question, not you guys. Chill the fuck out. I think he'd be fine because you could put him under a mask and then you don't need to see him. I think he'd be a fine double for it. I mean, he's a big-bodied guy. He's used to working on sets. And if you watch the backstage, behind-the-scenes interviews with Sheamus when he did that little thing for, what was that show called, Royal Pains, he said that he was going to start looking to get more into acting. This could be that way. I wouldn't say it's the most likely thing, but I wouldn't just completely discount it as bullshit either. I think the thing that would hurt it most is the fact that this report got out, and that could, but at the same time, I don't think it would. I'd be okay with it. I'm not going to be 100% optimistic that it's happening, but I think he'd work out fine for the role. And if he does, then he has to have a new theme song. It's a shame that Luke lost his hand.
You see Darth Vader doing a fucking brogue kick in the movie. Terrible.
If he shouts fella, I'm okay with it.
Brother!
But it's got to be in James Earl Jones' voice. Hot tag number 2. WWE officially signs Prince Devitt or Prince Fergal Devitt. Fergal? His name is Fergal?
Hashtag future WWE champion.
I
Dylan
think
and
that
Fergal, future tech champs.
I think that we need to get him in a match with Norv Purnham or whatever the fuck his name was. He's going to be coming to, I'm assuming, NXT Developmental in the Performance Center or whatever, not just jumping right on the main roster. And I honestly don't know anything about Prince Devitt whatsoever. I don't even really know what he looks like, let alone what he's like in the ring, what his promo skills are. I got nothing. So if he's great, cool. If he isn't, fire him. Don't care to me. Way go.
Solid hand in the ring. I don't know how he's going to go with the WWE style. I'm going to have to see. Yeah, pretty much.
Miguel?
You know, I really don't know what I can really say, honestly.
Not too familiar with him either.
Nah, not really.
Drew, do you know anything about Prince Devitt?
Is he a midget? Because he said Dylan and Fergal, and I thought we were talking about Dylan, the leprechaun, at one point. So is he a midget?
No.
No, I
Oh.
just think he's got a stupid name like Dylan. It'd be perfect. Scene.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. I do have something I want to say. I'll be honest. I kind of spaced out. I was trying to get my thoughts together. But in terms of Devitt, from what I'm reading, the big reason why they want to bring him in is because of the expansion to the network for Japan, and they really want him and Kenta to be the two big stars that they push for network subscriptions. So I think that's the big reason why they want to bring him and Kenta in. So if it gets him on TV, good. I hope that it leads to something better.
Is it Devitt or Devitt?
It's Prince Devitt.
Devitt. Fergal Devitt.
Yeah. Hey guys, in Japan, sign up. Look, they're doing kung fu.
No, here's the thing. He's a big star over there in was it New Japan? I think he was signed on to.
Yeah, he's a part of the. He was a part of the Bullet Club. The faction AJ Styles is in.
Yeah, so I think they're really hoping that his involvement in there, along with Kenta's, is really going to be big signings in the eyes of the Japanese wrestling fans. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the same reason they brought Steen in, but that's an anomaly in its own right.
Drew, what do you think about Prince Devitt or Prince
I don't
Fergal?
know I don't know anything about him, but I do know that Kane is in See No Evil too. So yeah, there's that.
That future me is going
waited
to edit
for that
this out and
reference.
save that. Yeah, that's great.
You guys don't regret me cutting him off?
Hey,
Well,
your
that's
thoughts
fine.
on Prince Fergal?
I'm not incredibly well versed with his career. I've only watched a handful of his matches, but he looks like a very talented guy who was very over wherever he went. I think it's a great signing. I think it's very smart of them to be putting some more international flair into their roster. I think it's very smart of them, as it was with Kenta, to send him to NXT first so he can adjust to the style. I think he's going to fill in real nicely. And, man, so much talent already down in NXT that they can finally bring up to WWE. And I think the biggest worry is after you take off like the Ascension and Sami Zayn and Adrian Neville and now Tyson Kidd, who's going to be left on NXT to keep it entertaining? Well, now we know. We're going to have Kenta, we're going to have Fergal, we're going to have Kevin Steen. We're going to have all these names coming up here that's going to make NXT continue to be a kick-ass show and breed future stars for WWE.
Hopefully we can add Bobby Roode to that list, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, fuck, man. There's so much potential for that. But one thing I do hope is I hope he's able to continue doing those fancy body paints he does, because those look awesome, and it's definitely something that'll make him unique and stand out.
Yeah, he's got some really cool ones and some really shitty ones, so it depends what they take from him. Because I've seen him come out as the Joker before, and it looked crappy, but then he does ones that look like Venom, and
Well,
here's
here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. If that is the case, it's going to be the WWE makeup department that's doing it, and I have a feeling they're just going to slap some generic paint onto him and just throw him out there. I don't think you're going to have somebody actually take the time to do those masterpieces on him like you see in some of them. Like, I'll admit the Carnage and Venom ones are really well done. I doubt you're going to get anything close to that from the WWE makeup department.
Why not? Look how much work they put into Goldust face paint, and they only put him on a screen to talk for 5 minutes. Not even.
Yeah, but he does that himself, though.
Yeah, but that's Goldust, and even then, when you look at early Goldust, he was just gold. He didn't have the fancy face paint on.
Mm-hmm. So he's doing more now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because he built that up. Like, I don't think we're going to see Prince Devitt come out in some fancy, body paint type stuff. If anything, they'll just be like, put him silver.
I wouldn't expect him to do it every week. I think he's just going to come out, just his regular body self for most weeks. But big events like WrestleMania, sort of like Rey Mysterio would always bust out the superheroes for WrestleMania. He came out as the Joker. It also looked really stupid. He did like Captain America and Flash. Do something like that.
As long as he doesn't put white makeup around his lips like Rey Mysterio did, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
What about putting him in a mask? What do you guys think about that idea?
No.
Okay.
It's going to be him as Darth Vader instead, and the reports got mixed up.
He'll be the new El Local.
We also have Ricardo Rodriguez has been released from the company.
Speaking of which.
Yep, he actually kind of made it seem like it was his choice, though. He said that he's come to terms with WWE's release, unless he was just doing that for, the sake of it. Overall, I don't think this is a huge deal. I liked Ricardo, but I liked him when he was with Del Rio. And then after that, he really didn't have any much of a purpose. And whether he was on the Spanish announcers team, I don't listen to the Spanish announcers team, so it doesn't mean anything to me. And El Local, don't give a shit. Having him do introductions for people like RVD, no, that was just awkward. So if he wants to wrestle and they wasn't getting that kind of a fulfillment from WWE and he left, then good for him for leaving and not sticking around with the job that he doesn't like. And if that wasn't the case and he just got fired because of budget cuts, well, hopefully he'll be able to figure out something else anyway. Because I like Ricardo, but he kind of outserved himself. So, Miguel, your thoughts on Ricardo?
You say Wago or Miguel?
Wago.
Oh. He's fat. He sucked in NXT. And he sucked as Rob Van Dam's manager. So yeah, get rid of him.
Miguel.
I really think they made a big mistake splitting him up from ADR. I think that package was just so perfect. I think they really gelled with each other, and when they split them up, I think the stock of both guys dropped significantly. I did see some interviews he did where they had him do like Spanish language interviews with ADR and Sin Cara, Hunicara. I think he had a lot of potential for on the international front, and I think given their expansion into these other countries, I think he could have brought something to that. Maybe had like a Spanish language thing for their network, so they can, so they can sweeten the package when they expand down into Mexico and South America. I'd been pushing for a long time for him to maybe get partnered up with Sin Cara and maybe help get him over, because it seemed like for a while Rodriguez was the more over facet of that whole ADR pairing. It's unfortunate that he left. I would suggest another company, but that might not be the case unless Ring of Honor decides they want to bring him in, which I'm okay with that too.
Drew, do you want to see him pop up anywhere else? Do you want him to be the new thing that's like going to save TNA or something like that?
He's fat.
Thank you, Steiner.
But seriously, does Jeff Jarrett still have that new promotion going or nah?
Yep.
GFW, yeah.
Is it? Then why not go there or go with what's Old Sin Cara's new name in Mexico?
Mystico?
No, I thought he couldn't be Mystico anymore.
Disease or some shit like that.
Nah, just go be his thing. I don't care. I liked Ricardo, but that was more so because I liked whenever I was at the live events. I just liked doing Alberto's ring stuff. I liked saying his name because it was kind of fun. And I guess apparently he wasn't good enough on the Spanish announcer's table. So hey, life's a bitch and then you die. What are you gonna do?
Ring of Honor's down a fat wrestler. Maybe they can have him.
Yeah, and they can have a feud. The fat off.
Peyton, do you want to see a fat off?
No.
Well, peer pressure. Do it.
I got one thing to say. Na 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 na. Hey hey hey. Adios. See what I did there?
I like what you did there. And we have one more hot tag to talk about because I miscounted at the very beginning of this and I said 3, but we have 4. Daniel Bryan stops the burglary.
The big
from
one.
his-
The big one. You
The
forget.
big one.
The big
Yeah,
one.
the big one.
The big one. Haha.
A burglar tried to rob his house and he said fuck that and stopped him despite the fact that he's got all those injuries that he's recovering from. So maybe this will score a lot of points in WWE because there's always been this kind of a mentality that we've heard about from different reports that if you don't seem tough enough, that Vince McMahon and some other people might not be willing to book you as being tough enough. And that somebody like John Morrison or, Daniel Bryan or some of the smaller guys in the past were held back because who would believe that they would win in a fight or something. Maybe Daniel Bryan doing this is going to be something that when he comes back, if they haven't just forgotten about it by then, they'll be like, oh, he actually can beat somebody up when it's not scripted. So there you go, Daniel Bryan. Here's a little bit of more of a push than we were planning on giving you to begin with. Cool to hear that. It sucks that he's trying to get, not trying to get, but it sucks that somebody tried to rob him. But it's good that he was able to circumvent that. So, Wago, your thoughts on the burglary situation and whatever that's going to happen with Daniel Bryan afterward?
It doesn't surprise me that he kicked the guy's ass. I mean, the guy trains at AKA now and again, which, for those who don't know, American Kickboxing Academy is one of the top-tier MMA training facilities. I know he trained they had him training with Daniel Cormier up on the WrestleMania 30 videos. So he knows how to handle himself. I think what's most impressive, he did it with a freaking broken neck or whatever he's got. So I don't know. I don't think it's going to affect his WWE career all too much. They might reference it when he gets back, but I don't think it'll have any effect.
What do you think about this, Miguel? Is that going to be something that they turn into a storyline, or is it just going to kind of fade away over the next couple of weeks?
Well, I'm just saying, if he was anything more than a B+ player, he would have gotten both burglars. See, he can't handle being at the top, guys. He just can't. John Cena would have caught them, and he would have gotten back the stuff they stole from the previous house as well.
And he would have cured AIDS and cancer as well.
Yeah. Just because.
Drew, your thoughts on this situation?
I think it's really cool. You don't hear many situations like this happen. If that was me and someone like were to rob my house, I don't know if I would chase after him because you never know what they have. If they have guns, they could have easily shot him. So it's a scary situation and all. But honestly, it's a really cool story. And I think Peyton, you linked a video to their press release afterwards, didn't you? I watched it, and honestly, it was really, really cool. I thought the whole thing was cool. I just hope that for future-wise, they stay safe because the other one is, I don't know if they ever ended up getting the other one, but it's kind of still at large thing, so you never know if that guy will try to return, get revenge, Burglar 2, something like that. Make a movie about it.
The sequel. Burglar 2.
You know what? Knowing WWE, they'll adapt it and then they'll cast John Cena in the lead. Starring John Cena as Daniel Bryan.
I think the burglar should just count himself lucky he didn't rob Orton. He would have come chased after him and shit on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I thought it was really cool, how the whole situation, dude. I don't know if it will actually affect his standing in WWE when he comes back, if he comes back at all. I'm a little surprised he didn't hurt himself, but I mean, he didn't really have to do much. He just put submission hold and wait for the cops to show up. But yeah, it's a cool story. Hopefully he just stays safe and for the future.
Peyton, what do you think about this situation? Any positives or negatives that are coming out of it, or meh?
Well, I certainly can't see any negatives. This is just a wild story. You say you don't hear it often. I actually think, didn't Buff Bagwell have something similar like this happen maybe a year or so ago? Didn't he stop a robber or pull someone out of a burning building or something? Anyone else recall that?
He threatened to have sex with him. That's why.
Oh well.
I know his mom probably told the reporters. I hear she's his secretary.
Oh, okay. Great for Daniel Bryan. Once again, very lucky that these guys didn't have any kind of weapons that they could have hurt him with. Very unfortunate for the people breaking into his house. Of course, it could have been even more unfortunate. Imagine if they broke into Brock Lesnar's house while Brock was coming home. They would not be alive right now.
And
they would have to run away immediately when he just charged at them and went.
Yeah, not even from Brock, from Sable.
Give me back my bracelets.
Yeah.
Drew mentioned that press conference, which I watched the whole thing. It was about 15, 20 minutes long, but it was a very enjoyable watch to see this very humanistic side of both Daniel Bryan and Brie. They were talking about how much they loved their dog. That was the first thing they were worried about. Daniel Bryan started tearing up at one point because he was talking about this priceless bracelet that his father gave to him before he died that they almost stole, but he managed to retrieve. Really feel-good story all around. There's not much more that you can say about that. One point I did want to touch on, though, that you mentioned about how they always worry about people looking like a tough guy. There was one point, I don't know if they still enforce this, but there was a point back during the kayfabe days where they told all the guys, if you ever get in a fight, you better win, because if you lose, you're going to lose your job. And I have to imagine that's not still in effect based on the whole Drew McIntyre situation, but yeah, they definitely would prefer you to look like a strong guy even in real life. And Daniel Bryan did that, and this can do nothing but favors for him when he does come back.
I think the big question is it Nikki he's with? Or is it Brie?
Brie.
It's Brie.
Was Brie shouting, "Come on!" during it?
No, she was just standing there with her little dog in her arms the whole time.
Just watching. Not even like smiling or cheering or anything. Just looking. Or she's going, no.
Bitch! You're a bitch!
They gotta stop airing that line because she sounds so awkward at that. Alrighty, guys, that is it for the hot tags. We are gonna talk about some Divas stuff in the next part, and then we're gonna take a little bit of a break, and then come back and start talking everything that we need to do with TNA. Yeah. Stay tuned, everybody.